It's great.
It is the time.
The season.
It is the season. It is. It's so close.
Which is like bittersweet.
I know.
You
I
know?
like as it gets closer, I'm like, no, I want this to last longer, but also like
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah. Like it's simultaneously exciting, but also like upsetting because you realize how many
Mm-hmm.
days are left. And it's like, oh,
Yeah, it keeps getting closer, and I'm like, shit, 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 shit.
we've got like, what, 12 days
Oh,
as of
that's
this.
so sad.
Yeah.
But
Which
still, 12 more days.
which I think is funny because when this comes out, it'll only be 4 days. So people are probably thinking, oh, it's only 4 days. Yeah, it's not very much time. And we're like, no, 12 days. It's
12
not
days
enough.
isn't nearly enough. An entire month isn't nearly enough.
Agreed.
We are once again joined by Mr. Kyle Bristol here for our Ooky Spooky Halloween spectacular. Love the eyeball mug. Was that an artistic choice?
It was. I've had this mug for years, but I always forget it because it's on the top shelf of my
Mm,
mug cabinet. And I didn't even have time to make tea. This just has like soda in it.
that's fun.
I was determined. I was like, no, it is the night for the eyeball mug because it's, spooky.
As it should be. But I think we have some fun spooky themed questions for tonight. Unless anyone just has anything that they would like to share to begin with before we get into it. I don't know why I ask.
Oh, I mean, I just didn't say anything because we had a full bucket.
That's fair. So I guess we'll start right off with a sort of, I guess, something along the lines of a would you rather. Do we think it would be more fun to be a vampire or a werewolf? And then there's a sub point to that, which is that arguments for specific types of vampires are accepted here.
I feel like when you open up the subtypes of vampires, that makes it a lot more complicated. Because, like, there's a big difference between traditional blood sucking vampire and, like, an energy vampire.
Okay, I'm gonna say that it has to be like a blood sucking vampire, but like there some variance is allowed because like Alucard is very different from
Ah,
Laszlo.
yes.
You feel me?
Yeah, yeah.
So, with that caveat in place of you must drink blood, would it be more fun to be a vampire or a werewolf?
I want to say werewolf.
Interesting. Explain.
It just sounds very freeing, but it's hard too because I'm not as familiar with, like, the werewolf lore, you know?
I'm not either. So
Like,
I'm kind of
do
just
they
going off of like the most classic, basic, like widely known version of a werewolf that I can possibly think of.
but, like, are they immortal as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think
But they don't
the
have,
only thing that kills him is a silver bullet, right?
not old age.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. I thought they weren't.
Yeah, I've never really thought about it, I guess,
I've
until
always
just now.
just assumed that they were either immortal or had like extended lifespans because they have fun supernatural powers happening.
Huh.
They're
Well,
immortal in the Underworld movies, I know.
mm,
I've never seen
well, we
those.
can say for our own purposes they are.
Yeah,
Like,
sure,
for
why not? You're
yeah.
getting to be an immortal supernatural creature. It's just down to which one.
But it also, like, they don't have to eat people. And the other question I have in my mind is because, like, I feel like in some media they are not aware, like, self-aware when they are
Yeah, there's kind of
werewolves.
like a bloodlust thing happening
Yeah,
in
but you
some
like lose
versions.
yourself when you become a werewolf. Because I think that's an important factor. Because if I can keep charge of myself while I'm the werewolf, great. But if it's like I completely lose control of myself, like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, that might. Here's the thing:
That's a hard no.
if I do get to like for the most part keep control of myself as a werewolf, I'm not gonna say that like just going quite literally feral once per month wouldn't be very like cleansing and freeing.
Yeah.
Like I'd just go hunt a deer or something, but I would still get to like charge through the wood in like pursuit of a creature. And
Yeah.
I think that would be nice. I think that would heal something in me, to be completely honest with you.
I want to be a What We Do in the Shadows werewolf.
Werewolves, not sway-wolves.
Yes, exactly. People can throw like toys for me and I'll chase after them, preferably not over cliffs or anything like that. But
Well, I mean, with what we do in the shadows, they clearly have some sort of healing factor going on
mm-hmm.
because he survives jumping off of a building.
Yeah.
So like, there's that. Um, hmm. Maybe a werewolf would be more fun because I think it
Yeah.
would like fuck up your life less.
Mm-hmm.
But man, sometimes being a vampire does sound very appealing to me.
But werewolves can still eat like human food.
And you're right, but here's the thing, and maybe this just like makes me like a narcissist or whatever. Vampires are so much hotter.
Who says?
Me, I don't know what it is. I just find the notion of the vampire so much hotter than the notion of the werewolf, and I don't necessarily know why.
It's because of how media has chosen to depict them.
Okay, yeah, I'm not immune to propaganda.
You could be a sexy werewolf. They just tend to show them as like savages that are scary.
I could be I would like to imagine that I would be a sexy werewolf. Although here's the thing, I think being a vampire along the lines of like Alucard Tepesh would not be that bad because he can go in the sun. He is shown like eating human food. He just occasionally needs blood to survive. Also, he's immortal and gets sexy fangs.
I feel like that's a little bit cheating though. Because if we're talking garden variety vampire, like that's an incredibly rare thing.
I suppose.
Because
I will
it's
say, having just read Dracula this year,
Oh, yes.
uh, he, Dracula, I mean, being a vampire seems like it's really fun if you're already like a murderous psychopath.
If you're already a little insane.
Like
Yeah.
he's having a great all the vampires are having a great time in that story. But it is very much like a curse. Like
Mhm.
Bridget said. You can't do anything, you can't go out half the time. You can't enjoy the food that you used to enjoy. I don't know. I feel like they're both equally terrible conditions.
I suppose from a logistical standpoint, being a werewolf probably would be more fun.
Yeah.
You could be immortal and still eat ice cream. I'm on board.
What
Assuming
kind
I
of
guess
mutant dog would we like to turn into as a werewolf?
Like what breed of dog?
Yeah, what breed of dog do you want to be?
Interesting.
Like, you're
I'm
obviously going to
realizing
be like a super strong mutant version of said dog breed, but
Like a
like,
pug.
what do you think it would
A
be?
there.
What would you want it to be?
Hmm.
Oh my god, I wonder what a beagle would look like.
A werebeagle. Oh my god.
Probably
I would
not
like to be a
nice.
borzoi because they already look terrifying.
We need to make like an artist friend who we can be like, draw us a werebeagle and just like,
So this is why the next like Saratoga Comic Con that we do, we have to have business cards and stickers ready with like our QR code or something on it, so you just like pass it out to people as like instant friendship and start building our network of like nerds to talk to.
mhm.
We'll get there. But I would like to be a borzoi if I were to be a werewolf because they already look pretty horrifying. And it would probably make me an extra fast werewolf because it's a sight hound.
I feel like it'd be fun to be like a golden retriever werewolf.
That would be kind of cute.
I feel like that would fit with my personality a bit more. Just like
Yeah,
me.
okay, I buy that.
I can see myself as a golden retriever werewolf.
I don't know if I have the personality of a borzoi because those dogs are. I love them dearly. I want one so bad. They are stupid. They are stupid as shit. And I don't
Yeah.
pretend that I'm particularly a genius, but with borzois, the only thing in that head is air and go.
Yes.
That's all they do. I
like,
don't really know what kind of dog breed I would be, like, personality wise. Brooks, honestly, I think Golden Retriever fits for you. And Kyle, Beagle does see. Beagle, yeah, I can see that. I really don't know what dog breed I am, so if anyone would like to assign me a dog breed right now and make that my sort of werewolf Sona, I am open to it.
hmm. I
Also, if
think
you can't come up with anything, I'm not going to judge anybody.
I almost feel like it needs to be some sort of like hunting dog for some reason. I don't know why.
Interesting. Is it my Aries energy?
Something immediately came to mind, but I'm curious to hear what other people think.
I don't have an opinion because I've never thought about this. Or, like,
I
I
haven't,
suppose it's hard
but
to assign one to myself because I might not view myself the way other people view me
Hmm.
to some degree.
so which greyhound is the tiny one?
The Italian Greyhound?
Yeah, I think that suits you.
Actually, you're so right. Just this little, like, thing that's, like, shaking and nervous.
Just
Yeah, okay. I'll take Italian Greyhound. Brooks, do you have any other ideas?
Well, I was thinking specifically about I don't know if you're familiar with the TikTok account. It's author Abby Jimenez, but she has 3 or 4 dogs. But one of them is this dog named Tess, and I can't remember what kind of dog she is, but that's the one that came to mind. But she is some sort of hunting dog, which is why I was saying that.
Interesting.
But she's super smart and a little bit odd and kind of goofy looking. I mean, not the I'm not calling you goofy looking, but
Oh,
just
I'll
like the
call myself goofy
personality,
looking all day long. All day long.
like that the personality part of it, just
Mm.
kind of like a little bit.
All right,
It was
I
the
would
first.
either be a were Italian Greyhound or whatever breed of hunting dog that is that I will wind up searching later.
This is gonna bother me.
Oh, never mind. Or we've got our resident podcast Googler on it right now.
Man, what did we do before Google?
I never had to know.
Tess is a poodle pointer.
Oh,
oh,
that's kind of fun. Well, I mean, I have curly hair, so there's that. Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, no, so she's not. That actually is not a poodle hybrid.
Oh,
Uh, it's a hunting dog specifically called a poodle PUDEL pointer.
that's so
huh.
fun.
German hunting
Heard of
dog.
that.
Yeah,
Oh my god, hell yeah. I'll be a fun little pointer. That'll be great.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I think as much as I find vampires, because of the way they are portrayed in media, I find vampires incredibly like attractive and alluring. I think it would fuck up my life less to be a werewolf, and therefore it would be a lot more fun. And again, I want to go after something in the moonlight and not really think about it. I don't think I want to kill people as a werewolf. I want to
Yeah,
sink my teeth into something.
yeah. I think if I were a werewolf, I would like quit my job and put all my energy into making like a werewolf reserve, where
Yes.
during full moons all the werewolves can get together
And
in
here's the
this like
thing,
wooded
deer are
area.
an invasive species in so much of the United States, so like you're solving a problem.
Yeah, yeah. We would just have our own wooded area, fenced off, kind of like Jurassic Park,
Mhm.
and we'd just fill it with deer, and then full moon, we all just get together and fun.
Incredible. All right,
And
yeah,
then
I'm
when the
here
werewolves
for it.
take over, we process it and feed it to the homeless.
Fantastic. You know,
$1 million business idea for werewolves right there.
solid plan all around.
Even though it would be nonprofit, but still $1 million business.
I mean, we could figure
Yeah,
there could be some angle
yeah,
just for, maintenance costs.
yeah. We'll make deer jerky.
We're not looking to make a profit here. I'm here for it. Um, I guess we can this is tangentially related because I just talked about sinking my teeth into something. This is kind of fucked up, but since this is our Halloween episode, we're going to talk about it anyway. What do we think the best cut of meat is on a human being?
Ooh. Thigh.
That's what I was going to say.
That's
Because I feel like a
yeah.
lot of other parts wouldn't have enough fat but then like most people's
Yeah.
ass are too much because you want the right kind of marbling, you know.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of people's biceps, as long as they're not too strong, would be good too.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I can see that working out.
Much smaller cut of meat than a thigh.
Do we think a human rib would be acceptable? Because, like, we eat those. But is our, like, anatomy built in such a way that, like, there's no point to it versus, like, a pig?
I don't know enough about human anatomy.
I don't either.
I don't really know what's in between them. Like, there's something. They're connected.
I would assume so.
Something meaty.
Yeah, I don't really know very much about how humans are put together, but I think a thigh would probably be solid. Like maybe the calf muscle?
Would be, although I feel like calf muscles are more muscly, you know?
I mean, is that not like muscle? Is that not what you're eating on any sort of animal, technically?
Well, it is. It's just that you want to make sure you have the right amount of like fat.
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
I think the calf doesn't have enough fat in it.
Hmm.
It might be a bit like gamier.
Hmm.
Just a guess.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, not that it wouldn't be edible just compared to a thigh, you know? I feel like your forearm would be the equivalent of a chicken wing.
Probably.
Because it's got the two bones in it,
I
it's
was
got the.
literally gonna say, like a chicken wing, you gotta break apart. This is so fucked up. You gotta like break apart the bone.
Hmm.
And I feel
Yeah.
like if I had to start eating myself, I'd probably start bicep area or the upper arms. I don't know.
Interesting. Is this in a scenario where like you have to do it while you're still alive?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because
See,
you just volunteered eating yourself alive. We weren't even talking.
I'm thinking every part seems too lean, but like I could start.
well, I mean, we've
I
all
don't
seen
think
at least the first 2 seasons of Hannibal. What the hell was he cooking?
like
I thought he did a lot of
or
internal
A
organs.
lot of organ
yeah,
meat.
yeah, the
But
liver.
what's Eddie is Eddie Izzard when she
Yeah.
was on that episode of Hannibal? I'm pretty sure it was like thigh meat that her character was like forced to compliment the chef on.
He served her thigh meat. I don't remember that.
I watched it when it aired, which has been years, so I don't
Right, and I
remember.
watched that show when it aired, and like, what was I doing? I was in high school. Why was I doing that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a
I
show.
need
It
to
was on
finish that
network
show.
TV.
I never finished it.
Yeah, I feel like part of this conversation is also like, who would you want to eat? Like, not necessarily a specific name, but like, because you wouldn't want
What
anybody
type
who's
of
like,
individual would you want to
yeah,
eat?
because you wouldn't want to eat somebody who's like super fit. You want some body fat.
So
So,
I would say somebody who has that kind of like they're not a bodybuilder, but perhaps they have a job that is very physical, that kind of like built over years of like doing said physical job, but they like again, they still enjoy their life outside of that, so they just kind of got the protective layer of like fat still around their muscles like they should.
that's why I'm thinking the way to go is like dad bod.
Okay, yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Like there's an underlying strength, so like
Yeah.
there's actual meat there,
Yeah.
but it's not just like totally lean meat.
Yeah, I feel like that's essentially what dad bods are, is like a guy you could tell was like really fit when he was younger,
Mm-hmm.
but had kids and kind of didn't have as much time to work out, so put on a little layer over top of those muscles, and it's like, yes.
Yeah. Also, I mean, again, just very pro dad bod in general, but also
Yeah.
for cannibalism, I'm gonna say that's the move.
Yeah, and this is important because if we do find ourselves in a cannibal holocaust, you know,
A
maybe
film
you
we
want to
need
make
to, a
sure.
film that I need to watch.
Yeah, I feel like you need to like get real skinny, or just real like overweight, and then
Yeah, you have to be on an extreme.
yeah, you gotta
And
go
frankly, if
polar.
it's an apocalypse situation, I feel like the kind of like you're most likely to wind up like that kind of like survivalist, like nothing but muscle.
Yeah,
If you do survive.
which is potentially a problem because I think most people are gonna be like that. You got to be like sickly thin,
Hmm.
then you'd be less appealing than the more muscled people.
Yeah.
You need to be like what's her name, Callista Flockhart. Dated reference.
Yeah, very. I don't know who that. I mean, here's the thing. I've only ever heard that name making jokes about the fact that it sounds like the name of a witch.
Mm,
Like I don't
mm.
know who that is.
She was big in the '90s during the like heroin chic era
Hmm.
when
Gross.
the the most popular models were those that were like legitimately medically underweight,
Oh yeah.
like the model Twiggy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was her name was freaking Twiggy,
Yeah. Yep. Wild times.
but that's what you need to look like to be least appealing, probably in a zombie, not zombie, cannibal.
I feel like that would happen to me pretty quickly just because I'm not a particularly big person to begin with. I think the second I was put in any kind of survival situation, I would immediately just like become like a wisp.
Just hide away,
Yeah.
wither, wither, and wither,
Yeah, essentially.
become a little crone.
How would we and now, since we're just going down this road, what would be our preparation method for human meat?
Sear
Is
it.
What was that?
Slap it in a frying pan and sear it.
Okay.
are we talking like in the current version of the world, or are we thinking like apocalypse?
Let's just say current version of the world. I think that we would probably make like a good like stew.
Yeah, especially for certain cuts of meat, probably not going to be good enough to make like a steak out of.
Yeah.
That'll be good stew meat. I mean, I think that's what like the forearm would be good for. It would be a good
Ooh,
stew meat.
yeah.
Mm.
Plus, you get some of that bone marrow because you got the two bones in there, and
Mm-hmm.
get some bone marrow broth out of that.
Henry
And
Zabrowski
the
would be so proud of this conversation.
and the thinner, more sinewy pieces, you could just make jerky out of them or something.
Yeah,
Dry them.
Yeah.
yeah. Build yourself a, what do you call those? Like the places where they make the jerky. The
Oh, I can't remember the name.
Oh, there's
yeah,
a This is gonna bother me.
yeah. Oh well.
Oh well, indeed. But Kyle, when you were talking about having to eat yourself while still conscious for whatever reason, that kind of leads into the next thing that I have written down for us, which is, do you think you could survive a Saw trap, having finally watched the entire Saw franchise, except for the one that is currently playing in theaters?
Well, I'll say with only a little bit of shame that I've seen all those movies about 3 times now.
Why would there be any shame? Those movies
There,
bang.
there are some that obviously I don't think anyone could survive. There are
Summer,
a few that
yeah.
I think I could, if depends on what part of my body is in danger. I have
Yeah,
a
I'm
very
gonna. Here's my caveat to that is spoilers for anybody who um wants to watch the entire Saw franchise and has not done so yet. It has to be an actual jigsaw trap. Like it can't be like one of his proteges who isn't actually doing it in his weird like fatalistic moralism type way where there's like actually a chance for you to escape if you do the quote unquote right, like if you follow the rules. So it has to be an actual jigsaw trap. I would like to think that I could.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I'd like to believe.
I mean, I would hope that like if my life was like if it's my left hand or my life,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna like it, but yeah, take it, bro.
I mean, I might be able to chop something off to get out of a restraint, but I gotta say, I don't think if I was under time pressure, I need time to mentally prepare for a lot of things, so I probably wouldn't do well with that.
I mean,
Under
well, in some of them, he
extreme
does
time
give you
pressure.
like 2 hours,
Sometimes he gives you like a minute.
but are those not often the traps that were not actually made or designed by John Kramer?
Yeah, that's true.
I would like to, again, I would like to think that I could survive an actual saw trap. Maybe I'm gonna be bold and say yeah, probably. I
Yeah.
think my desire to not die, especially with my particularly like horrendous fear of death, my desire to not do that would definitely like win out over my desire to like keep a limb.
Yeah, I think I could probably get through it because I'm just, a practical person in general,
Yeah.
where I can pretty easily just be like, well, I mean, this is the only solution. This is just it, you know.
Yeah. And also, I think a lot of times, like, the thing that gets people in a lot of saw traps, especially ones where it's like, oh, you could have survived if you would all just work together, is that people panic and, like, I would, like, take a minute and, like, obviously, I'm not gonna act like I'm better than people. I don't know how I would react in any of those situations, but I really, truly would try my best to, like, assess the situation and make sure that I don't do the stupid thing where I like try to stumble out of my restraints and then immediately yank whatever is attached to the timer that makes it start ticking down faster.
Yeah.
I would really try to get my bearings first if I were to wake up in that situation and like take stock before I did anything.
Yeah, I also have a high pain tolerance too, so I feel like I could.
I think I have a pretty like based on just various experiences in my life, most recently including getting a tattoo that was like right over the bone. I think I do kind of have a high pain tolerance.
Yeah, like when they were like, "Oh yeah, the ankle's one of the worst places to get tattooed." I'm like, then what? I almost fell asleep.
If I were to get like the arm piece that I want, that's like Twin Peaks, and it takes like 2-3 hours, I could. Oh my god, I'll take a nap. It'll be great.
Yep.
That'll be fantastic. I can't wait.
I
But yeah,
think part of the issue with this though is like we're coming at this from the perspective of being familiar with the Saw
yeah, we're
movie.
coming at this from the perspective of people who know what a saw trap is. So
Exactly.
I
Like
mean,
if you just woke up and you were like in this situation and you knew nothing about
yeah,
Saw and Jigsaw and all that stuff.
I
You have six
still
seconds.
like to think that I just as a person would like again just try and take stock of things before I do anything stupid. Who knows if that's actually what would happen, but
Yeah, but I mean, you might not even know that there's some potential like trap, built into that. You might not know that there's a way to get out of it or that there are rules to follow. Like,
well, I mean there's always the tape that says like play me.
well, yeah, but if you're in a blind panic, you might not even see it.
Points taken. Points taken. Yeah, I'd like to think
Yeah.
as a somewhat analytical individual that I would even if I didn't know what was going on that I would try and assess an unfamiliar situation in like the smartest way that I can at any given moment, but who's to say?
And, honestly, I feel like playing video games would prepare you for a scenario like that.
Okay, you know what? With that in mind, I am just leaning even more into my answer of yeah, I could probably survive a saw trap because I've played quite a few like escape and puzzle games.
Yeah.
Maybe I would even just be like my time has come.
Yeah, because like, just earlier today, I was playing some Zelda, and
Noise.
I was in the Lightning Temple, like solving little things in that, and I was like, man, I keep finding myself in little rooms where I have to figure out, like, how do I get out of here, get to the next thing, and I'm like, it's kind of similar.
Yeah, just like, with less dire results.
Yeah. that, and if there's less pressure because you can take as long as you want to figure it out too.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like exercising those skills while playing games would be helpful.
I would say so. Kyle, you look like you've been pondering. Do you have anything else to add to this conversation before we get to, like, point B?
It's just making me realize more and more that I would not like. I would like to be able to, but I don't think I could. You know,
I mean, it's good to know these things about yourself.
Yeah.
because I keep thinking of specific ones that like I know, like, oh, I wouldn't be able to do that.
And I mean, frankly, I'm talking big game here. Like, I could be very wrong.
Yeah.
But this
You
is
never know
also
things.
a stupid podcast, so I don't have to be right. But our sub point is, can we think of any reasons why we as people might have wound up in a saw trap?
Oh,
So I've only seen the first two, and I saw them when they came out. So it's been what, like 20 years or something.
Okay, yeah. So, like, Jigsaw, he has his weird black and white kind of moralistic view of the world of, like, oh,
People that
you've
need to be
caused
punished.
other people
Yeah.
pain, so now cut off your hand or whatever. Can we think of any reasons why we would be in a saw trap?
Well, I remember that it's punishment, but is it for things like lying, like as simple as lying to somebody?
Not as simple as that, but if you're like a pathological liar who's like actively making people's lives worse, yeah, he might get you
Okay.
for that.
Yeah. I was like, what ways did I make people's lives worse?
Right. And I don't want to like, and I feel bad I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, I'm too nice of a person to ever be in a saw trap because, like, I'm not perfect.
No.
I just feel like any reason that I would give would probably be extremely petty by the standards of the franchise. But,
Yeah.
like,
aside from maybe lifting something from Walmart when I was like 9 years old, I don't think so.
I don't think that rises to the level.
yeah. I'm, like, just trying to think of my worst qualities, which is a weird thing to, like, be searching to admit in a public forum.
I could see myself in a saw trap for being perpetually late.
Okay.
Because it inconveniences people sometimes, despite my
Yeah.
best efforts.
Yeah, that one might. I could
The
see
best
that
I got.
one. Hmm. I don't know if this would like be considered punishable by Jigsaw's standards, but I could see myself winding up in a saw trap for like I don't know, for kind of being like a pushover
Interesting.
in like I guess public or like work situations or whatever. My indecisiveness making people's lives harder.
I'm also very indecisive, so there's that too.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't make a choice, so now you're in this trap where you have to make a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's why I would be in a. That is one of the reasons why I would be in a saw trap. I can't make decisions, and now I have to make a very big one.
And then it would have to be something like, would you rather lose your left eye or your right eye?
You don't have a. I think you do have a dominant eye, but it's way less.
Do you?
I think so. I think it's way less, but like it's way less important than your dominant hand, or like it makes way less of a difference than which hand is dominant.
Yeah. Like you have a dominant leg and everything too.
Yeah, you have a dominant side of your body, essentially.
I think it can vary from side to side. Like I know my dominant leg is my right leg, but
I will
because
have
of
to pay attention to this in my day to day life now and report back.
that's why I had my hip injury, was because I was always leading with my right leg. So that's yeah.
Oh.
So I have to try to lead with my left leg when I run.
Huh. Interesting.
Mhm.
The more you know.
But I mean, but that's like almost an impossible choice because it feels sort of arbitrary, and you don't really want to lose either of them.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
so,
so
then
you wouldn't
maybe
be able to choose.
that's why it would be torture for me.
Yeah, it's like maybe you don't actually lose whichever eye you would choose, but it's more of like if you don't make a choice, you're gonna lose both. But if you make a choice, you don't lose
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, that usually is how the saw trap works.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Do something deeply unpleasant or even more deeply unpleasant thing happens.
Mm.
Oh, I
Yeah.
guess I was just kind of reminded of the fact, Kyle, I don't know if you managed to tune into this stream or not, but I wound up saying on the stream the other week that the Saw franchise made me reevaluate my stance on torture porn.
Mm.
So, how so?
Well, there is an old episode of the podcast or an old edition of the stream where I wound up saying something about how there's I don't like any form of torture porn. There's no point to it. There's nothing to be appreciated there. I was wrong.
I have a weird relationship with that term. I can't think of any other examples of it, really, aside from like maybe like movies that are basically just porn, like horror themed, like porn. I don't know. Like I know people call the Saw movies that, but I never really saw them that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think at least the Saw traps they have like a narrative behind
Yeah,
them.
Yeah, it's
But
very
like I'm thinking
narrative.
about like the Hills Have Eyes franchise. I remember that one
haven't seen that
being
one.
I haven't actually seen them either, but that being held up as an example where it's basically like they're just killing people in gruesome ways just to kill people in gruesome ways.
I, hmm. So see, maybe I should watch one or two of those and like compare.
And I know there's like a whole genre of like rape revenge movies, which I might have seen like one in my life, but I know people generally think they're like horrible, like ethically and like horribly made.
Well, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
And
Anything where you're using rape as like a narrative tool for the purpose of
Yeah,
like
not
horror,
cool.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, drive. Yeah, Saw is so much better than that.
I would agree. I would 100% agree. I feel like there's a very annoying subset of film bro out there that would like try to hold up I Spit on Your Grave as some sort of like transgressive feminist masterpiece. No, Saw is better.
It's almost camp.
Fight me.
Basically is.
Oh, speaking of camp, we're getting ahead of ourselves because this is already going to have happened by the time that this episode actually airs, Brooks. We watched Reanimator last night. Have
Yeah,
fun.
I've fallen into a pattern of watching it right before the stream, so
Just have fun. Just putting that's all. Have fun. All right. This is a question that I believe has been discussed on I think both previous Halloween episodes of the podcast, but it's always nice to get new opinions. Do we think that Halloween is more fun as a kid or as an adult?
I want to say kid. Just felt like it had more magic to it, kind of like
That's so valid. There's a part of me that wants to say adult because when I was a kid, I had the same level of like attention to detail and wanting my costume to be perfect or whatever, but I was a small child and like needed assistance, and there was only so much that my parents are willing to assist their perfectionist child in like making sure that this costume is exactly the way she wants it and all this fun stuff. So now that it's all down to like I'm in charge of it and I can do whatever I want and I can put as much time and effort and money into it as I want. That is incredibly satisfying to me. And also when I was a little kid, when you would get like the Halloween costume catalog,
mm-hmm.
I haven't done this and I don't know if I ever will, but I always wanted to be Wonder Woman. I wanted to be Wonder Woman so bad. And I live in upstate New York and it's cold in October here. And it always made me so mad that I couldn't be Wonder Woman. But now, as an adult, I could just suffer if I wanted to. No one's telling me no, which is very satisfying. I don't know if I ever would bother dressing up as Wonder Woman, but knowing that I could, and just either, a hoe never gets cold, so I could just I could just do it. No one's stopping me. And that is incredibly satisfying to me. Something about the freedom of Halloween as an adult, as a person who likes to go utterly nuts with costumes, is wonderful. Because there's nobody telling me that I can't do something.
One Halloween, I went dressed as a witch, and I had these like super long green like stick on nails,
Nice.
and so I couldn't wear gloves or anything, and it was particularly cold that year.
Mm-hmm.
And I made it like four houses down before I had to go home because my hands were just frozen into claws.
No, rip.
Like physically could not move them. It was like hooked into my little, trick or treating bag.
Oh
Like
no.
so that kind of ruined that.
Yeah.
So sometimes they have a point when it comes to the cold.
And that's the thing. But, like, also when you're an adult, you might just be going to a party that's indoors. So, like, your walk from, like, your car to the party might be unpleasant. But then you
Yeah,
get in there and you're, like, having a great time as Playboy Bunny L. Woods or whatever.
yeah, yeah. But kids, you get the candy. I still remember that feeling of like
Oh my god, I
getting home
know.
from trick
God,
or
it was
treating,
so good. You dump out the
having
bag.
the loot. Yeah, take stock. Maybe do a little trading with siblings.
Yes. Yes. That was a great feeling, and I do miss it very much.
Yeah.
There should be adult trick or treating.
But it still just wouldn't be the same because like now I can just go to the store and buy candy. You know, as a kid, your parents probably wouldn't let you go and buy like that much candy,
Yeah.
or if you even had your money to spend on it.
Kyle, what about you?
The candy was always the part I look forward to the most. And so, I love the freedom of being able to buy as much as I want as an adult. But also, I think you have like the benefit of hindsight when you're an adult, so you can like learn to love it as much or almost as much as you did when you were a kid. And you can still go out and maybe there's not trick or treating, but there's like parties and networking and shit. I think it could be fun.
I think an important distinction is that you need to separate out like young adulthood from like later adulthood
Oh,
because
Hollow Weekend is elite.
yeah, Halloween when you're like in college,
Oh my
sure, you're
god.
technically an adult, but you've got all these people around you. But as you get older, your friends, you like have fewer and fewer friends because people get married, move away, right? You're not, and so you don't really have parties to go to necessarily anymore.
I
So I think there's an important distinction. I think like Halloween from 18 to 30 and then after 30.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna say, as a person who's in the 18 to 30 category right now, I am very much enjoy. Like I'm like there are definitely things I miss about Halloween as a kid. One, there definitely was the like spooky magic in the air type feeling, which I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely loved, and I will be chasing that high for the rest of my life. But I am really enjoying my 18 to 30 Halloweens right now. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, the age specifically was in my head because I can't remember what I was looking at the other day where they defined adulthood as like over 30 and then young adulthood is so you're not like an adult until you in your 30s.
I mean, I'm just a 25-year-old teenage girl, and I think I'm gonna feel that way for the rest of my life, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
To me, the major exception to this, I know people make fun of Ohio, but I miss living in Columbus so much because, well, many reasons, but specifically for this moment, they have a Halloween party every year where they like for the city, like they shut down a huge
okay,
segment of the arts
okay.
district, and they set up like on the middle of one of the busiest streets in the entire city, a giant runway. They build it,
Yes,
and you can enter a costume contest, and then people walk up and down this giant
yes.
runway,
Oh my god,
and
yes.
it is a very pride friendly city, so you get a lot of drag queens who are just like bringing it. Um,
Okay, when are we going?
and one of my favorite things I always looked forward to with that is you can get like a hot apple cider with bourbon in it. Just walk around, sip in it, watching all these costumes, and it was a huge thing, like, thousands and thousands of people.
Yes.
That was better than childhood.
That sounds like quite possibly the best night ever, and we will be doing that someday very soon.
Yeah, I love Columbus.
Oh my god. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, so to me that's like the major caveat. I would say childhood, but Columbus Halloween party is better.
Yeah, I think I am gonna say like your kind of young adult
Yeah.
Halloween is superior, in my personal opinion. And again, maybe this is like this. Maybe this is just because of who I am as a person and like the amount of satisfaction I get from like doing elaborate, complicated things that I didn't have the ability or the skills or the time or whatever to put into that as a kid. Even when I wanted to, that was frustrating. Or like being told that like I couldn't dress up as something that I wanted to, when now it's like it's all you. It's all down to me and I can do whatever I want. And I really like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the difference here in our responses is like you're into costumes, whereas Kyle and I, it seems like it was more about the candy than costumes,
And like the
which would
candy
give childhood an edge.
fucking great.
Yeah.
But
But,
yeah, the
I'm not,
more I
like,
look back, like even like how like when you were a kid, or maybe this was just a my household thing, how you had like the bin of like random ass little costumes.
no.
Oh, we were a dress up household. My sister and
Sure.
I. Like we
Wait,
just
wait. Are you talking about for Halloween?
no,
Oh.
just like as a like activity.
Mm, okay.
Oh my god, that was so much of a thing. Where like you just had a bin of like where like you kept like some old random Halloween costumes and then you would play dress up. Oh my god, that was one of my favorite things to do. I have always been a costume kid, apparently.
What if
Whether
it's
or not I
because
was aware of it.
I wonder if it's because you had like a sister and it was easier to share costumes versus me having two brothers.
Very possible.
Yeah.
When I was like 5 or 6, my mom uh sewed together this like giant remote control costume. She made me a remote control for Halloween one year.
That's so
It's like this
cute.
big brown square like felt thing that I just slipped over my body, like a mascot suit.
Aw.
I remember getting so upset because all the like adults were kept stopping me to take pictures of me and I wanted to like get more candy and I was like constantly getting harassed for pictures by like the neighborhood people.
Oh, see, and to this day, maybe this makes me a narcissist. Whenever someone's like, "Oh my god, your costume looks so great. Can I take a picture?"
Oh, yeah, that's fine now when you're not trying to get candy.
Yeah,
Like these people
Even
were
as a
stopping me
kid,
to
that was
get candy.
crack to me.
Like if
the candy's
it
crack.
if we were at a con, perusing the merch, but perusing the merch meant at each table you got candy, I would not want people to stop me and take a picture because I would prefer, like, no, I have to get the candy.
That's, I
So
mean, I'm
even
not
today,
gonna judge you, but again, oh my god,
yeah.
attention.
I mean, it is nice, but I'm just not like into costumes per se, which is I know weird saying about just like this, but
I mean, yes, but you also did simply purchase that and put it on.
yep, yep,
And
it
also,
was an
like,
easy.
that looks very comfortable.
It is. You start
It,
wearing
like,
these
it
all the
looks like it has kind of pajama vibes, or like
yeah,
loungewear
totally.
vibes. Aside from the collar, I suppose.
Yeah, just fold it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, you can, like, have some costumes that look very good without necessarily being into costumes if it's just like, I purchased this thing and I put it on my body.
Got a couple of those.
And you look fucking bomb in all of them. So, like, there's no judgment from me here. I just like making things because I'm insane.
Well, I have things I've made too.
I know, and they're all
My
very
power
impressive.
jacket.
I will be borrowing that at some point.
Yeah,
Exciting
we got to
times.
do our Haji
Yes.
tapes and whatnot. I know words.
So proud
It's
of
like, what's
us.
the thing called? The thing you put on, and it's like a
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So now we have something that Brooks found for us,
Yeah.
which I'm very excited about. We're gonna read some bad 2-sentence horror stories. I think we're gonna rotate off who's reading what.
Did it send? There it goes.
There we go.
Oh,
Come on. Open phone. Thank you. Oh my god. Okay, cool. I can already see some of these, and man, these are golden. I just have the window made really small on my second monitor here. Whoever would like to go first, and then we'll kind of just go in a quote unquote circle.
Mm-hmm.
Would anyone like to begin?
I can kick it off here.
Hell yeah.
This first one actually has a title. A lot
Oh,
of them
incredible.
don't. Because this first one is the IKEA incident,
Love it.
right? And as an avid IKEA fan,
I've still never been to an IKEA.
you need to come here, and then we'll drive up to Toronto because
Done.
that's the closest one. Yeah. It's
See,
like 2.5
I also
hours.
feel like a weird, strong obligation to go to an IKEA now because there's a bunch of like ghost-related jokes that I could make, being that the lead singer of Ghost is from Sweden and people make jokes about it all the time.
Oh, fun. Yeah. Just make a road trip.
So just like even more reason now. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Yes. Right. The IKEA incident. I decided to go on a tour of the IKEA factory. Little did I know that I would find the creature that lays the IKEA meatball. I freaking love those meatballs, like, because they got a whole cafeteria at IKEA, and I go
Oh,
there
I
for
know. I've
meatballs
heard tell.
Every time I get those meatballs.
I've heard tell. All right, I will go. Scrolling on down. No title for this one, just 2 sentences. I woke up on a wonderful morning full of enthusiasm. Then I noticed the mutilated body of my children on the floor. Singular body of his children.
That was the one when I texted you yesterday that I was like dying. Just-
Something about just like those like slightly off grammar of this too. Beautiful.
oh, there's a few that have bad grammar, and
Oh,
somehow
fantastic.
that makes it so much worse.
Mm-hmm.
But,
It has like who was phone under, or no, what it has man door, hand hook, car door energy.
yeah, I think for the
was phone.
And who was phone? Okay, Kyle, your turn.
Come on in, have a seat, said the dentist, ... who invented the electric chair.
which technically that's a 1-sentence horror story.
Did a dentist actually invent the electric chair? That can't be right. Like, I'm assuming that's not correct.
That's what I'm wondering, is like, I don't think that's correct, and also,
I very much doubt.
why are you inviting someone, if you're operating the electric chair, why are you inviting, it's like you're inviting an unsuspecting person.
That's why I love it, because it's like the person who wrote is probably like, yes, this is very scary because it's just you think it's a regular chair, but it's like, then why does it have to be a dentist? Like, I don't. Like, I have a lot of
Sweeney
questions.
Todd, but worse.
Yeah.
Brooks, you're up again.
I wasn't scared of long hallways. That wasn't until I met the hallway man.
I feel
Oh,
like
I
some
love that
people just people just put down words and are like, yeah, that's it. That's all
Like,
we need.
I can see that being an intro to like a longer story, but that in itself
But
is the
that's
whole
it.
story.
Who's
Yeah.
the hallway man? What does he do? What does he look like? Is he like the Hat Man?
Yeah, and what a scary name.
Oh my god, I need to send this to you and I will link this in the description. Have you seen the video? You know how like the Vogue is like an event in like the drag subculture?
Mhm.
Have you seen the video where someone showed up to the Vogue as the Hat Man? Like the Hat Man that you supposedly hallucinate if you take too much Benadryl? Someone showed up to the Vogue as the Hat Man.
All right, but you know what this makes me think of? The hallway man.
I'm the hallway man.
Oh, that's
I
so
love
good.
like the small like grammatical mistake that makes like the whole thing like invalid.
Incredible.
Like it wasn't until.
Right? Alright, here we go. Everyone always talks about skeletons in the closet. What do I do if a skeleton comes out of the closet? Parentheses, urgent. This is just funny.
I know the urgent really got me.
Aw, congratulate him. It isn't every day you see a gay skeleton. Yeah, he's being brave and bearing his soul to you. Leave him alone. You don't have to do anything.
Urgent.
Alright, what do we got? I'm ready. I'm like timing my sips of tea very carefully.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes.
Dad, it's time for you to open up your Christmas presents, I said jokingly. My smile turned to horror as his urn levitated and flew towards the tree.
I mean, again, that's just like I could see that in that's a bit in some supernatural comedy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is me just sitting in my office yesterday. He's in like, people probably thought there was something wrong with me.
It's fine.
I don't think we've gotten to the one yet that made me like bark laugh.
I'm excited.
The next one is amusing because grammatical errors, but
Amazing.
also, well, you'll see. One day I was walking down the street and someone started to chase me. He said, I want to kidnap you.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
That's it.
It's a pretty uncomfortable scenario.
One day I was walking down the street and someone started to chase me. He said, I want to kidnap you.
Okay. Okay. He cried when he saw the acceptance letter from Stanford, as he wished his parents could be here to see it. But he had to do it to come up with that orphan teenager story for the college application. You gotta stand out somehow, man.
That one took me a second. Like, what do you mean to come up with? Oh, he killed his parents. Oh, man.
Okay. We were both 15 at the time. How are you still 15 while I am 18?
Wait, that's it?
There's also
Can I
two
just-
grammaticals.
Can I read that out loud again?
Yes. Sorry, I like didn't scroll because I didn't want to like spoil it for myself, and now I'm like actually physically looking at it. Wow.
Yeah, I did. We were both 15 at the time. How are you still 15 while I am 18? Oh my god.
That's pretty good. I like that.
I mean,
Yeah. Not even remotely like a horror story. It's just.
I took it as like maybe the other person became like a vampire or something at 15, so they didn't age.
Oh my god.
How would you be able to tell at those ages that they weren't aging?
Yeah,
Maybe
actually.
But it's like it's the grammar that does it for me. I just
This just reminded me of another like dramatic reading of a like grammatically incorrect Tumblr post that I will find and link, where someone is doing like a sort of Nandor the Relentless type voice, and it's like, I became a vampire. And it made me laugh a lot, and I will share that as soon as I rediscover it.
So
Reading the next one.
I'm purposely not. Unless it's my. Wait, it's not my turn, is it?
no, it's
Okay.
although
I'm purposely not reading the next one because I don't like. I want it to just hit me.
so the next one isn't particularly. I just enjoy a name that is in it.
Okay.
And admittedly, everyone after this one I put on there because I do not understand them.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So now we're just gonna be confused together.
Yeah, like one of the ones that's coming up, I read it so many times and I still don't understand.
Okay, well, now I'm excited.
Yeah, okay. But this one first. The child cried as Creepy Joe entered the room. His jaw unhinged and his fangs grew as he smelled the child's fear. Creepy Joe.
Okay.
I don't know if it's better or worse than the hallway man.
I mean, at least he has a name.
It's true.
Creepy shit.
So the one after the next one is the one that I read so many
Okay.
times.
Okay.
There's only two more. Just two
Okay.
more.
I agreed with the devil, allowing him to take my firstborn son, grinning smugly as I thought of my 2 daughters. My wife was in tears when she found out about this. I couldn't understand why until a circle of flames engulfed my son-in-law. Huh?
No!
What does this mean?
Like,
If anyone can figure this out, please comment and explain it to us.
maybe the devil was like, I didn't mean biological son. You know, like, and so your son-in-law counts?
Maybe?
Or like, did the, I guess I shouldn't be so heteronormative and assume it's a guy, but it works better for my other theory, is that, like, maybe he had an affair with a woman and that woman got pregnant and had a son and didn't tell him, and then that son married his own sister.
It's possible.
That's how they got. Because, but then
Sure.
why would the wife know that?
I was
They're
gonna say,
not
why was
him.
the wife dead?
Beats
Yeah.
me.
Like, his wife was in tears when she found out about it. Couldn't understand why until, so, like, the wife got it and this person didn't.
This is all so very confusing.
I read it so many times.
Yeah, and I
I
still
think
don't
I
understand,
got it.
so it's not you.
Yeah. Yeah, the next one also doesn't make any sense to me, and I want it to be explained.
Cool. Kyle?
In 1950, there were 2.5 billion people on Earth. Now there is 8. But since Sarah just died, I guess the number went down to 7. Again, it's the less horror they are, the funnier they are.
I
Like,
know.
it's
I
not-
know. Well, that's the thing. I think it's supposed to be scary. Like, my initial assumption was that they meant 8 billion because there are 8 billion people on the planet right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then they said one person died and the number went up to 7. So I guess they meant there were literally 8 people on the planet.
Yeah.
The apocalypse.
Yeah, maybe that's it. The
But how would
population
they
has
know?
been...
How would they know there are 8 people on the planet? I can't imagine they have communication, like.
Yeah, point taken.
What's it
But also
happen,
my
like-
name's in it.
That's kind of fun.
I died in it. Yeah.
Big sad. Well, I mean, at
Brady
least I
died.
know your funeral plans now because we had an extensive podcast discussion about that one time.
I say more than once actually. It came up. One particularly extensive conversation.
Yeah, why
that's-
does this podcast get so morbid even when we're not trying to be?
Because we don't shy away from the morbid stuff like a lot of people do.
I love it.
I think a lot of people be like, oh, it's in bad taste to talk about, like, you know, funerals and whatever. And it's like, no.
Who cares?
Part of life, man. It happens to all of us.
Alright.
But, like, but just, if they're saying there are literally 8 people on the planet because of, like, an apocalypse, why did they use 1950s population as the reference point? Unless their story is taking place in, like, 1951 or something? Like, why wouldn't you say there were 8 billion people on the planet, now there's 8?
That also, like, can't be the correct figure.
What? The 8?
The 2.5 billion in 1950 or whatever.
Oh, I think it probably is. The population has exploded,
Oh, I guess
like
so.
exponentially. It's just like, why would you use 1950 as your comparison point
Yeah, that is a weird
as
reference.
opposed to, the current population of planet Earth?
Maybe this is like Fallout 4.
Yeah, as I said, unless this is a story that's taking place in like the 1950s, and so it's more relevant. But they don't say that, and this is the whole story, so it's not like it's.
Thus is the nature of the 2 sentence horror story.
Plus, they cheated. It's 3 sentences.
Rude.
Oh, what a great
Is there
time.
one after this?
In my personal document, I think that's the one I sent you guys, though.
There's one more on here.
Right, I forget what it is
Can I read?
because I added it to the document
Wait.
after I'd already uploaded it.
What'd you say?
I was wondering if I could read it.
Go for it.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it is.
I didn't know where the muffled screams were coming from until I lifted bun of my burger. That's when I saw that the patty was actually meat men.
Okay.
Again, I read it like 5 times before I read it out loud, and I didn't notice that it was bun of my burger until. Oh god.
All
That
right.
one got me, and I was like, you know what? There's already too many on the document, so I didn't upload the version with that on it.
Oh well.
And there were so many others that I wanted, but held in.
We can always bring that back just for funsies. Read bad 2 sentence horror stories because I feel like that's got to be a gold mine.
Like, just an example of one that I wanted to put, and then in the middle of the night, your dog stands on his hind legs and says, "Nobody will ever believe you." Then you see him grab a kitchen knife and run into your parents' room.
Oh my god. The first part of that is like freaky enough because like yeah.
Or just one more. An eye for an eye leaves the world blind. Eddie the Eye Eater thought as he began to feast. Eddie the Eye Eater.
Sure, why not? You
That's
know.
better than Creepy Joe.
It's even better than Creepy Joe or the Hallway Man.
All right, hell yeah. Well, with that,
So many good ones.
with more to definitely come in the future, this will be a segment that makes another appearance. So with that, that's gonna bring us to the weekly worsening, and I think I have some pretty solid stuff. I finally ordered. It's finally back in stock. The OG Cardinal Copia plushie. I ordered that today. I ordered that at like 9 o'clock, before 9 o'clock this morning. And by like 1 p.m., I got an email saying that it had shipped.
Nice.
So I eagerly await my son. My fucked up little son. And also, I got another exciting package in the mail today. I want to give a shout out to Omega Level 3D Printing, who printed my vessel mask for me
Wow.
for Halloween. I'm very excited to start working on this. They are it's just this guy who does like independent 3D printing. You can commission him. And they have tables they do tabling at Saratoga Comic Con and Mid Hudson Comic Con, and I'm assuming probably some other local conventions, but hell yeah, cool stuff. Check them out. I am so happy with this, and I'm so excited to start working on it.
We are mere weeks away from Saratoga Comic.
We are mere weeks away from Saratoga Comic Con, which is very exciting because this is also going to be making an appearance at Saratoga Comic Con. fun times all around. So that's how I'm worse this week. Purchasing items and continuing to fall deeper and deeper down the cosplay rabbit hole.
You know, I don't really know that I'm worse this week.
I think we all know that's a lie.
Like, I'm trying real hard.
You can always be worse.
Yeah, that's why I was trying. I was like, what have I done this week? I mean, I've done a lot of things. Just I haven't had as much time for hobbies. I mean, I continue to play video games, and I did technically start watching an anime series like right before we started. I watched like half of an episode, just because like it was the first thing
Jesus
I saw, and
Christ,
I turned on
what
Netflix.
now?
Sure. And I already don't remember what it was called.
Cool.
I seriously don't remember. I know it's 3 words. Something about a guy who gets trapped in a virtual reality game. But that's where I am now.
Sword
Like I
Art
was like,
Online?
oh, huh?
Sword Art Online?
No,
No clue.
it's new. Okay, but I think like that's the level where I am now, where I'm like, oh, I just got like 15 minutes to eat, and I'm just gonna throw something on, and I turn on Netflix. I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Just random anime series.
I think the fact that you texted me before we recorded today saying, I don't know which costume to pick, I think that is definitely you becoming worse, because that is something I never would have imagined you saying, like, last year.
Well, I've always had a few costumes, but mostly just kind of your standard Halloween thing.
I mean,
Like
I'd say it counts, but that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kyle,
I was
what
gonna
about
bother
you?
I'm struggling to think of something. Also, I guess I'm eating too many sweets. I've had a
Ye-
couple apple cider donut meals this week. But
Happens
other
to the
than
best
that,
of us.
I don't know.
I did just order a whole mess of loose leaf tea from David's Tea,
Nice.
um, and got like a new mug.
Of course you did.
Not from them, just a cool like double walled glass mug that has dried flowers between the walls, which is pretty
Wait,
cool.
that sounds super pretty.
Yeah, it is very cool. Yeah, I wanted to use it like during the pod, but I was like, no, but it's Halloween episode, so it'll have to wait.
Well,
But
you
yeah,
could,
like
well, I mean, not tomorrow night when we're actually recording this, but, or tomorrow night when we're actually recording this, not tomorrow night when this drops.
yeah,
You could use it during the stream tomorrow night.
that is true. Yep. I gotta take advantage. I won't be able to like be sipping tea
Oh,
after Friday.
yeah. Oh, big sad.
Because I'll have my new clear aligners,
Well,
and
I
I
know
can't have
how we're
anything.
all going to be worse by the next episode. We will all have been to a musical.
Yeah. So Sweeney Todd Saturday,
Oh, I'm
but
so excited.
I cannot express to you how excited I am that Spamalot's coming back. And I kept wanting to send you screenshots. Like Alex Brightman is gonna be Lancelot,
Oh, I know. I saw.
and I saw
I
it, and I
saw
was
it.
like,
Don't you worry.
like one of the few Broadway performers I can name, and only because you have talked about him so much. But like, I am dying to go see Spamalot.
We will make it happen.
I mean, how many people get to have a musical made out of like their favorite movie?
Not
Not
many.
very often. Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
We will do our best to make that happen.
I looked it up. The anime is called Good Morning World.
Fun.
Yep, just something random. I did finish all the episodes of Zom 100 that are out currently. There's only 9 of them, but like, I'm in love with that show. We could just watch all 9 episodes this weekend.
We could. We could also watch Over the Garden Wall.
Never seen it. What's that?
That or like Bride of Reanimator.
My like Google page keeps recommending articles about Over the Garden Wall, and I keep reading them, like theories about the ending, and like
Good. Oh my
an
god, I love
article
that.
an article simply about the autumnal vibes.
Precisely. Kyle has something to say.
I have a rock fact.
It's a rock fact.
I think this is from the Grand Canyon.
That's
Oh.
fun.
Fancy rock.
My mom gave it to me when I was a kid.
Aw. All right, well, with our rock fact, I think that's going to bring us to the end of the episode for this week. As always, friends, we appreciate each and every single one of you. We'll be back again next week. Happy Halloween. Have an amazing time, and we will see you then. Adios.
See ya.
This week's episode of the Fighting with Friends podcast was hosted by Bridget Kelly and Dr. Sarah Brooks, featuring special guest Kyle Bristol. You can find other episodes of the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or your other favorite listening platform. Follow us on Twitter at BridgetKelly98 and at AnnSarahSaid. Rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice. Like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch and Facebook, and join our Discord community using the links in the description. You can also help support us via the Acast supporter feature, or consider donating to our Patreon for early access to episodes and fun bonus content. Thanks for listening!